In the past, I did a video titled, I So Understand Why the Black Church is Empty. And to date, I'm still getting responses. I'm still getting comments on that particular video. But there's one comment that I received earlier, and it's by a black female. And the comment reads, the black church is pure bullshit. This is what she wrote. And lies and money, greed, and all kinds of sex games. Look, the black church is bullshit. And she's got 3 exclamation points, which means she's putting emphasis on it. She's shouting it from the rooftop. But then my question would be to people with the same thoughts that she has regarding the black church, because of course the black church has its problems. Anything that's run by a human being is not going to be perfect. But while we're here on earth, we're striving for perfection. And that's why the Bible tells us to judge not, lest ye be judged. So people that are quick to judge the black church, I would then ask you, how is your home? How is your household? And how is your life? In order for you to speak out so vehemently against the black church, against the Bible, against the black preacher, and even against God, you must have your house in order. You must be spot and wrinkle free. You must have a sin-free lifestyle, and your household is in order, like the universe designed it to be. And if it's not, then I would strongly suggest you keep your mouth closed. Because when you look in the mirror, or better yet, when you point that one finger at someone else, or even at the black church, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you. Now, let's take a look at the typical black home. The typical so-called black home is led by a single parent mother in most cases. In today's time, we have single parent fathers because the so-called black female, the ones that strongly speak out against the church, was not woman enough to be a mother to raise her own child. Now, I've posted videos in the past of articles where many black children have lost their lives at the hands of their black mother. No, I'm not talking about abortions yet. I'm talking about the black females that murdered their child. And in some cases, it's because of the fact that she could not have the child's father. The child's father wanted nothing to do with her. And he left her, and maybe for another woman. And she could not handle being without him. So she took her anger and frustration out on her children. And many because of the fact that the sons or the child reminds her of the father. So you have so many young black men that's growing up without their father and was abused by the mother because they look like or remind her of their father. So the mother takes her anger and frustration out on her kids. But you have females like that that's quick to blame or bash the church. Let's talk about homelessness. I was talking to someone earlier that was saying how the church that she attends, had taken up some money and donated to this organization. And the young man said that no church had ever done that before. And he was quite surprised and pleased at the amount of money the church raised for him, because he was working with young people in high school, in elementary school, and in junior high school that was homeless. This one particular school, which is an elementary school, which is comprised of majority young black children. This is the school that is somewhat of a last resort. These are the bad kids that can't function in regular classes, run by single parent mothers. And he said that every 1 in every 10 children in that school is homeless. So what he does is he's got a program to try to help these kids with socks, shoes. And he said there's times that the kids come to school with no underwear. But yet these homes are run by the so-called single parent black woman. Some of the same females that would get up and bash the church about what the church is doing and what the church is not doing. But yet, when you look at your household, it's a mess. It's drug infested. You have different dudes coming in and out over your children. You may have about 20 kids and each child has got a different father, but you have the audacity to talk about the black church. And this is just not about black women or black females, but also black dudes that do the same thing, that criticize the church, but yet you walk out on your kids. And I don't want to hear any type of excuse on how she don't allow me to see my kids, or the system is designed for me not to see my kids. Because you say you are a man. So a man will fight for his children, but yet instead you impregnate these women and leave them to fend for themselves. But then you have the audacity to bash the black church, the black preacher, God, and even the Bible. A lot of these females that bash the church, and even so-called black males, are dependent upon the system. People that get up every day and make it their business to go to work, and taxes are taken from their paycheck. You're now freeloading off of the taxpayers. Even the so-called black males that's on public assistance. You call yourself a man, but yet you're living off the system, or you're living off some female that's going to work, that's got children by different baby daddies. And now you become a baby boy, like one of her children, where she's working and supporting you, but yet you have the audacity to not only speak out against that woman that's a single parent mom, but you have the audacity to speak out against the black church. She mentioned about the sex games. Well, how do you think she received those multiple children by multiple baby daddies? Sex games. And I've spoken in videos of the past of the number of black females that's on social media, Facebook, primarily Instagram, Backpage.com, prostituting themselves for money. sex games filled with diseases and infections, and you're constantly passing those diseases on to someone else. Illicit sex, but yet you have the audacity to talk about all kinds of sex games in the church. You have the audacity to talk about the lies. And I talk about paternity court, where the bulk of black females on there, yes, there are white females and other races on paternity court, but the majority of the females that's on paternity court trying to find her baby daddy are black females because they cannot keep their legs closed. Let's not talk about abortions, late term abortions, and post abortions that so many black females that speak against the church support. Transgenderism. You have so many so-called black females that's trying to be a man, take hormones to change the way God created them to be. So I can somewhat understand why they're angry at God. It's not so much as the church or the preacher or the Bible that angers them. It's the fact that God made them to be a woman, and yet they want to be a man. They envy men. So they take hormones to change their body and to change the way their voice sounds. So when you listen to some of the videos on YouTube of these so-called black females that bash the church, their voice is deeper than mine. You listen to their videos and they claim to be righteous in whatever religion they choose to follow, but yet you hear, yeah, see what I'm saying? See, it's like this, see, the church, see, and you have all of these churches that's full of greed and all kinds of sex crimes, but yet at the same time, you're not in your proper, the way God created you to be, you're now outside of your own nature. You don't like yourself. You don't love yourself. You strive hard to be, in many cases, a white female. But yet you attack white women that try to sound or act or dress black women. But yet every day of your life you strive harder and harder to compete with that white woman. And better yet, it's sad because in this time we have more black females that's now trying to compete with transgender dudes that want to be females. And these homosexuals, lesbians, transgenders, they're some of the first ones that love to bash the church. They love to bash God and the Bible simply because of the fact that they are an enemy to God. God finds their lifestyle an abomination. And according to the Bible, God says that those that commit those acts shall surely be put to death. So they're angry with God because they want to live the way they want to live. And because of their nature, because of the way God has set the universe up, there's an immutable law, an unchangeable law that works against their very nature. And in the end, they have to face judgment for the choices they made in life. So I'm going to end it right here. I just decided to mention a few. But before you judge the church, before you judge the Bible, before you judge the preacher, take a hardcore look at yourself, at your life, and the house you claim to lead. And if your house is not in order, then you need to sit your behind down and keep your mouth closed. So feedback, tell me what you think. Until next time, I'm fearless.